We are glad to have you here today. Glad
Thank
to
you,
have
sir. Thanks.
you. Yes, sir. So, um, first, I'm just gonna introduce myself, and then we will also explain why we're here today. We're here, as I explained in the email, we're here to talk all things economic development, but also because Economic Development Week is actually coming up next week.
Mhm.
So we thought it would be great to talk to you since you are at the Economic Development Corporation for the county, and also giving your expertise in a variety of areas in terms of economic development. We thought this would be a great discussion to have. So briefly, I'm Sam Braden the fourth, of course. I am the Deputy Director of Economic and Community Development for the City of Laurel. And we have a few of our team members here today as well, and they will introduce themselves briefly.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm the new planner for economic and community development here.
Hey, Chloe, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Anthony. My name's Sadaf Parveen. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator with the City of Laurel, and I work primarily with supporting the local businesses in the city and supporting our economic growth in our community.
Perfect. Nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
And before we begin, just I did let Chloe and Sadaf know some of your background. Of course, I believe you met Sadaf because she has attended the monthly economic development meetings. But just so that everyone knows, Anthony, Mr. Jeffrey, he's actually in retail and restaurants as far as business development. So he's the business development manager for retail and restaurants at the Economic Development Corporation. He's also the co-chair of the ICSC Next Generation. Are you still you're still in that position as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Just finished up an event last month and looking forward to heading to Vegas in a couple of weeks.
All right, that sounds good. Okay. So if you don't mind, Mr. Jeffrey, we're going to go ahead and jump right in with a few questions for you.
Of course.
Feel free to elaborate as much as possible.
Okay.
That's what we're here for, to inform us, but also to inform the residents of the city of Laurel as well.
Okay. I could just be Anthony. No, no, Mr.
All
Jeffrey.
right.
That's my granddad.
All right. Yes, sir.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you again for being here.
Of course.
I'm very excited to pick your brain about everything.
Thank you.
But just to start off, could you just tell us a bit about your professional background and experience and what inspired you specifically to enter the field of economic development?
Yeah, of course. So I'm originally from Portsmouth, Virginia, and I did K through 12 and college in the Tidewater area. I received my bachelor's degree from Old Dominion University in Norfolk, and communication with a minor in marketing. And honestly, I had no idea that I would get into economic development as a career. Prior to this, my past life, I worked in commercial brokerage as a retail broker. And in that position, I managed about, I would say, 3 to 4 million square feet of retail mixed use and office space in the DMV area, ranging from Fairfax County all the way down to Virginia Beach, actually. So, been in the market for quite a bit now. Um, I did a little bit of a pivot into economic development, and it's kind of something that fell into my lap. The person that actually did my position before I came here, Nicole Hall, she was great in this position, and she was really great about reaching out to the brokers that were doing business. And she and we always kept in touch and always talked about just how we can change things. Because I'm also a resident of Prince George's County, so have a little bit of a vested interest there. So yeah, she moved on to the revenue department, and she and I had a conversation, and she said you'd be a great fit for it, and that was almost 6 months ago. So we've been here about 6 months. Really happy to really leverage those relationships that I've created in the brokerage community just to really bridge a gap that was kind of self-identified between brokerage development and economic development. So yeah, that's a quick spill of it all. But yeah, economic development was not something I plan to get into, but it's definitely something that I feel like it's a passion. It's you look at the market and how it is, and economic development is really a driver of how you place your community. And if I can have some sort of stake in that, that I feel like that's my life's work.
Thank you for the introduction, Anthony. We're glad to have you at the county and in Maryland.
Thank you.
Our next question is, in simple terms, what does economic development mean, and why should the public care about it?
Yeah, I would say in simplest terms that economic development is literally building community. And that's probably the simplest way to put it. And the public should really care about that because you can't get the things that you want as far as retail and development are concerned if we're not pouring into our community already. Retailers look at past activity and past success before they come to areas. So when we're not developing our community and keeping our money within our community and developing that and keeping those tax dollars and those dollars that are being spent in stores in the community in which you pay taxes and live in, that creates the deficit and the void that some of us are experiencing right now. So it's definitely something that the public should care about because the public is 50% of that. And economic development is for the public. And if you're not having your voice heard, then we don't know exactly what needs to happen in those communities. So I would definitely say that it's an approach that everyone should care about.
Thank you for that. And touching on that, you said that the public, is really that driving force and driving factor. So
Mhm.
with that, and I'm sure you know, based on your experience and professional background, that retail businesses and restaurants are highly influenced by the public, by those shifting consumer preferences. So
Mhm.
how do you stay ahead of trends and how have you leveraged emerging consumer behaviors to drive growth?
The brokerage community is how I stay in touch, honestly. And it's something that I would say has not been tapped into as much as it should be. If we look at how, from the public's view, you look at a developer building something, you would think that the developer or the county municipality has a say into what goes into those centers. And it's not. It's really, you look at it in a personal sense. When you buy a house, your neighbor can't tell you, well, in some instances with an HOA you can, but your neighbor can't tell you what color to paint your house, and we can't tell centers and developers who to put here. So it's very important that you're tapped into the brokerage community because these are the tastemakers. The retailers are relying on these people to make decisions for them and relay that information. So having these daily touch points with brokers and developers, seeing what their hard points are. And another good thing about working in economic development is that the citizens reach out. I get at least 2 to 3 calls. Well, I would say 4 to 5 calls now in a week of just citizens concerned about what's going on in their municipalities. And I would like to just say I enjoy that because we don't know what we're doing wrong if no one's telling us. So I would definitely say that communication and keeping communication in a business to business standpoint and also business, you would say typically to consumer, but business to citizen, I would say. Change that C from consumer to citizen. And yeah, that's how I kind of look at it.
That's a great point, Anthony, and that kind of leads into our next question. In your opinion, how would you say real estate development and economic development intersect?
That's a great question, actually. Real estate development and economic development are, I would call them siblings. They can't coexist without one another. Um, Developers need to know how to build and where to build. Did you look at Tyson's Corner or you look at the National Harbor or something like that? They specifically look at customer behavior and how these markets are set up. The one thing that they're looking for, daytime density for retailers. Yes, they'll look at it sometimes as the community as a whole has great demographics. They're looking at household incomes and the amount of people that are in an area. But if we don't have the density to support that, then the project won't be successful. And developers reach out to economic development to know exactly where those areas are. They want to know where the main and mains are. They want to know where the daytime density is and where the evening density is. Because if your restaurant isn't open until 5 o'clock, you don't necessarily care about what's going on at noon. You want to know where the traffic is after 5. So just being able to have an open line of communication both ways so that A, they know what's going on in our county and we know what they're planning to do. I think that that definitely considers them to be like siblings, and we need to always know the left hand always needs to know what the right hand is doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess sort of a follow-up on that question, kind of related, but obviously there's like a very strong linkage between, real estate and economic development. What
Mhm.
other industry would you like to see, being more at the forefront of economic development, or what industry do you think should be?
I'm jaded to retail myself, just as a retail guy, and just being in the discipline that I can work here now. At the EDC, we have 5 different business development managers that cover the gamut from government relations to health and life sciences, IT, manufacturing, retail and real estate, international business. We run the gamut here. We cover everything. But retail and mixed use is what literally is developing and creating communities right now. On the front end of that, that is how you create the density that you need to get better retailers. And on the back end is also an opportunity to activate underutilized public property that's already here. I mean, if you look at it, you'll see a lot of the malls in the country are being demalled now, and they're turning into mixed use properties. And that mixed use guarantees that that grocery store that you're putting there is going to have at least the 2,000 apartments that you're building around it are going to shop there. So that's guaranteed success.
Yeah, great. My next question is going to be, how would you suggest that a business stays competitive in such a fast-paced industry?
I would say study your market and know what your competitors are doing. That's most important. Also, be abreast of what's going on in your community around you and have a pulse on the citizens that are patronizing your business and the ones that aren't. The big thing that I see a lot of retailers and restaurateurs as well just not doing is just not being aware of what their surroundings are. And if you're in a community and you see there's a need here and you're not actually activating that need that needs to be done, even if it's out of the realm of what your restaurant is. If there's a homeless issue that's in the area, hey, a way to alleviate that, the food that you're going to throw out at the end of the night, we maybe there's a way that we can talk and we can figure out how to alleviate that issue. But there has to be a human approach and there has to be a business approach. And I think that businesses are most successful when those two encompass each other.
Thank you for sharing that, Anthony. My next question is, based on your research and professional expertise, what does the future of retail and dining look like in Prince George's County?
The future is bright. I'll definitely start there. Prince George's County is literally a springboard for business right now, despite whatever the reports may say, and despite whatever's happening, with the government. Prince George's County was directly affected by a lot of that because of the amount of government workers that live in the county, and sometimes those were 2 people in a household. So even with that, those people, they're pivoting. We're not sitting there on their hands. They're not trying to just wait for a handout. Those people, they are starting businesses now. They're taking their ideas and they're buying franchises and they're bringing new and innovative concepts to the county. We have mixed use developers that we have lined up to meet with in Las Vegas next week that want to come here and they want to do business. So the most important thing that we're looking at right now, the EDC, is just uh, we're cautiously optimistic. There's a lot that's coming down the pipeline that is changing here, but we're not looking at those as bad things. Those are opportunities. And if we have the opportunity to bring something new, something exciting, and something that are going to keep the over $1 billion of spending power that leaves our county every year within our county, we're going to take those opportunities and we're going to maximize those.
Glad to hear that the future is so bright.
Yes.
My next question is, what are some strategies to strengthen business development and economic growth within the county?
First thing I would say is communication. That's the big thing. A lot of times that we don't want to talk to our neighbors to find out what they're doing, and we don't want to be transparent with people that can help us. And a lot of communities that are very successful, they are transparent, and they don't mind having conversations about their wins, and they don't mind having conversations about their losses. But what we can do as a community is learn from what someone else has done already. If they've done the legwork, there's no need for me to bump my head if you told me that that was going to be low already. So if we start that communication and you reach out to the EDC and wherever you are, if you're doing business, you need to be aware of who the person that is working in economic development is in your municipality. And you also need to know within us what's going on at the county. So you need to have that communication. Reach out. We're always here. Every person in every discipline wants to talk to you and they want to hear what we can do to assist and make sure that everyone's successful. I like to tell people when they ask what the EDC is, I like to let them know that we want to be your partner and not necessarily your partner in equity in your business or sharing of your profits. We want to be your partner in success. So whatever we need to do, we're going to go out of our way to make sure that happens. Once you get your lease signed and we find your place, I still have people that are giving us calls and they need issues with getting through permitting. They need issues with getting to parks and planning. And we want to make sure that that trepidation is totally eliminated. And we want to make sure that everyone knows now that you can come to Prince George's County. You bring your IT to Prince George's County, it's going to do great. You bring your retail here, it's going to do great. Warehouse, medical, it's going to do great. There's a diverse community of people here that have the education, the money, and the wherewithal to be great patrons. So we just want to make sure we're presenting the county in the best light.
Thank you for all of those responses, Anthony. You actually gave us a wealth of knowledge and a lot of information that we didn't have before. I did want to ask you a few more questions, if that's
Of course.
okay.
Of course, I'm here.
Um, all right. So these questions will be a little bit more different. So this first question is it's a multi-part question.
Okay.
So we would like to know your favorite project,
Okay.
most underrated tool,
Okay.
and your biggest challenge.
Oh, favorite project. Now, my favorite project is the expansion that's happening in Prince George's County right now that covers all 500 square miles of the county. I can't say I have one in particular that's my favorite. I yeah, the entire county, that's my favorite project. Um, the next part of that would be what was the question? I'm sorry.
Most underrated tool would be next.
The most underrated tool is the Economic Development Corporation. Just reaching out to the EDC. There's for some reason there's a perception that there's like this huge pot of gold that we just have here. We can just open the pocketbook and just give out money, but we don't have that here. But what we do have is resources, and no matter what the issue is, there's someone here that can give you a resource here to make sure that your business is going to the next level. And if that's even just talking about and figuring out how to do that, we're here to do that. So I would say that's the most underrated. And the last part was I'm
Your
sorry.
biggest challenge.
My biggest challenge right now is making sure that every person knows that Prince George's County is open for business and that your business will be very successful here. Um, there's a connotation, there's a negative connotation sometimes with certain counties in certain places within our country, and we have to go out of our way sometime to work a little extra to make sure they know that our dollar spends the same way everybody else's dollar spends, and there's opportunity to be had here. So that's my biggest challenge is just getting around a narrative that's not necessarily true and just getting the truth out and letting everybody know what's going on here.
Thank you for that. And I can honestly say thank you all for being a resource because you have definitely been a great resource to the city of Laurel and
Of
our
course.
economic and community development department. And we definitely look to you all for information as well as direction as well in a variety of ways, which leads me to our final question.
Okay.
If you can,
Mhm.
please give us three tips that you could give us to revitalize our main street.
First tip I would tell you is to look at the brokers and the developers that have done business successfully in your municipality. So in the city of Laurel, if you look and you can find who's been doing business in the last, give it 24 to 36 months, call them, see what their thought processes are and what they're thinking about next. The next thing I would say is go meet with these brokerages and sit down and let them know. Look at the site plan is what they call the each block that's on the shopping center. Take that site plan, mark it up, write out exactly what you would want in those spaces. Go and talk to those brokers, and they can tell you why this won't work, or you may uncover an idea that they didn't think about. The third tip that I would say is just communicate with the places around that are doing well. If you go to the National Harbor and you see something that you like, if you don't know the contact over there, call the EDC. We'll get you who you need to talk to, and we'll get you in front of those retailers. And if there's a retailer that you want in Laurel that you haven't talked to, give us a call still. And if we don't know the broker, we can find out who it is. But I just think with everything, just communication and just building that bridge that if you need something, you can give me a call. If I need something and I need to know something that's going on over there, I know I can give you guys a call. And that is going to be the key to success for the next portion of the future of Prince George's County.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for
Of
that
course,
wisdom. Thank you for
of
that
course.
insight. And we definitely appreciate you taking out the time to talk to us today, especially in regards to economic development.
Of course.
We're in the midst of this master plan update right now, so
Hmm.
this is definitely a very, very important conversation. And we will definitely make sure that we keep this relationship going, this
Of course.
partnership, and we will definitely have questions for you, I'm sure, in the near future as well.
Hey, well, I'm here as a resource. If there's anything that I can do to assist while you're moving forward in this, and even after, please feel free. Let me know. I'm here as a resource, and I really enjoy and I thank you all for taking the time just to ask me questions and to even care about what I have to say. So definitely appreciate all you guys taking the time. And again, if you need anything, reach out to us, www.pgcedc.com.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Of course.
And with that, unless anyone else has any closing remarks, I think that will be all for us on our end.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All
You
right. You
too.
too,
Nice
sir.
meeting you.
Thank you. Nice to
Nice
meet all of
meeting
you.
you.